Hey, it's Walt with One Fall WrestleCast. How we doing? Hey, so obviously we got some stuff to talk about. Scott Hall, man, he's still kicking from what I see. We're gonna touch on the career of Scott Hall, and then Big E. Oof, oof. Yeah, we're gonna break that down a little bit too, and then we we've got some AEW things that we've been kind of batting around this week. It's going to be make for interesting conversation. We'll catch you on the other side.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
What's up, dudes?
Hi, guys.
Hey, yo.
Little known fact, that's actually Tom's voice doing the one fall. We just multiplied it about 100 times.
We're gonna go back to this. You want to bring this back up again?
No, it sounds great.
It's a great soundbite.
If only it's Tom's soundbite.
If only that was true.
We're gonna go back to this again. You want to argue about the fucking intro video again?
He don't know what he wants to argue about, Walt. He don't know.
I don't. It's kind of like when you're playing Mario Kart and you hit one of them question marks and the shit just spins and spins. You don't know what I'm going to argue about. I just kind of make it up.
I always just
whatever
get the
comes
coin,
out of my pitiful mind.
I only ever get a coin because I'm always in first place.
I feel you.
That's
no
fair.
blue shells for Tom. That's for sure.
No blue shells for me. Now I've never even got a blue shell or that thing that turns you into a missile. Never got that either.
I've gotten that one time, and I think I drove off a rainbow road and got past and like pulled me up and fucking brought me down. Like that thing's dope.
It is dope. I've watched my kids
it's fair
get
to say
it.
that my co-hosts here obviously play on the 50cc difficulty. So thanks for making that known to everybody, guys. You know, you could at least put on some panties and act like you drive 100 or
just because
150.
Just because you're bad at Mario Kart doesn't mean we're playing on 50cc, pal. Okay,
Come on.
Let's just calm down. All right.
Look, man. I got an 8-year-old. All right, I got to keep my Mario Kart skills up to par because you want to talk about somebody who's playing on 150 cc's plus. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that kid. It is hard to beat him, and I do it consistently. He's probably down there playing Mario Kart right now, ready to kick my ass.
Well, I mean, if you lose to the child, then it's a whole week of gloating. So I understand. You got to keep the house.
He whoops me in Smash Brothers, though. I will admit it. He whoops me in Smash Brothers. It's not even close.
You got to work on your Kirby. That's where it's at.
I like to be Richter, and I call him Pretty Ricky. Like, oh, I'm Pretty Ricky, because one. Richter is the best Castlevania. Richter is the best Belmont, and I will not hear it any other way. And two, I can talk about Pretty Ricky, and my kids are like, what the hell are you even talking about? I don't even know who Richter is. Who the hell's Pretty Ricky? Shout out to Ricochet. The United States champion. Or no. Intercontinental. Finn Balor's the United States champion.
We go from one Intercontinental champion to perhaps one of the most legendary Intercontinental champions, Scott Hall. Man, this has been a crazy week, right? So apparently Scott Hall had fallen down, and he messed up his hip, and he was in there for hip surgery of some sort, and had a bunch of complications, and a blood clot got loose. And Scott proceeded to have 3 heart attacks, and now he's been on life support for the last couple of days. But at some point today, he was taken off of that life support. And as of 2 hours ago, the last update that I got, he was still kicking. So, T's and P's to Scott Hall, and
here's hoping he kicks out.
Yes, definitely.
I would certainly celebrate a kick out at this point. I might cry. I would be that happy.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody in the wrestling community that would be upset at a kick out for sure.
Oh man,
this
would
is
be
huge. This is the bad guy.
This is
We're losing quite the icon, and especially our generation of growing up watching wrestling.
Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. So,
and that's the truth, man.
Let's hope.
And here's the thing. I guess like we're talking, like there are a lot of people are getting upset because people are like, really speaking out about Scott Hall and like, well wishes and stuff. But I guess there's some like RIP messages that have come out, and like Waltman and Kevin Nash took Twitter, man, they were pissed.
Like my brother's heart is still beating. Yeah, I saw, and rightfully so. I don't think that I'm still hoping for a kick out.
Absolutely.
I am. Anybody that knows me knows that I am number one, the most optimistic human. Don't you have a mute button for when stuff like that happens?
I really don't.
Anyway, so as far as all that's concerned, I'm hoping for a kick out here, and don't put a man in his grave before he's there, while he's still warm and while his heart's still beating. I'm still hoping for a kick out, but
yeah, man, it's crazy, and it's like I'm glad to see that like everybody the wrestling community is so behind Scott Hall through all this, right? And because somebody that has absolutely left an impression on us as fans, and from all accounts is a super creative dude and just super in tune to the business, but I don't necessarily know that it would have been that way a couple of years ago, right? Before he got himself put together and taken care of, and was able to get clean and on the straight and narrow.
Well, I think that his story is inspiring as well. Like as great as his career was, as big of a, he was probably the most impactful guy that was not a world champion.
Yes.
As far as all that's concerned, like he was Intercontinental champ a couple times. I know he was tag champ a few times, but he was never like the world champ. But being one of those guys who was never the world champ, he was probably more impactful than half the world champs that ever were, at least, if not more. I mean, there's very few guys who have had as much impact on the business as Scott Hall, particularly, Hall and Nash with the Outsiders and the forming of NWO, and just their presences in WWF before that. It's important to point out too that I don't believe anybody ever kicked out of the Razor's Edge. Am I incorrect in thinking that? I don't believe it ever.
I don't believe that it's ever happened.
I don't believe it ever happened. I think it's like one of like 3 finishers that's ever happened to, and the other 2 are like from back in day. So it's really he was a guy that really had a mind for the business. I saw a funny thing as we were getting ready to come in here, when he had met the Dudley Boys. It was all fake smiles and, hey, how you doing? He walks up to Bubba and shakes his hand and looks at him and says, hey, man, I love the 3D. What a great finishing move. I can't wait to kick out of it. and like, there's the bad guy, right? Right. That's him, and that's that's the guy. Killer on the mic, just one of the best promos, and really with a look. If you look at his early career with like when he was in like the NWA and what I was like the Indies prior to his come up, he was a much bigger guy. He was much more.
Yes,
he ended up being a very just sort of tall and lean, not kind of like Psycho Sid in a way, but like that like lanky, lean, but still big, strong looking guy, and really a unique look for that time, because usually at that time he's wrestling Vader, he's wrestling big guy like Yokozuna. He and Yokozuna had some clashes. He's wrestling like the big men that he wrestled, because he was a big guy. I mean, he was like 6'6" or something like that, and I mean, he wasn't a little guy. the big men back then were big, and they didn't look like Scott Hall. Scott Hall looked like, he was ripped and shredded, but like he was lean and tall and long too. So it was like he had a really unique, at the time, look in the business. I think there's guys who kind of do it now, in the post steroid, but he never looked like he was on steroids. Whether or not he was, I don't know. But he never looked like he did.
No, I would say he never had the appearance that, he was doing the juice and, all that good stuff. But he was definitely, early on, an extra large individual.
Yeah, I mean, he was thick like a Samoan, kind of that kind of like.
I've gotta put it out there, Derek. It's like, obviously the contributions that Scott Hall has had to the business, man. Like, what has Scott Hall meant to you as a wrestling fan?
Oh, bud, that's one of my earliest memories. Was back in the day, growing up, I was a huge WCW kid. I loved that shit. I loved me some NWO. Loved the Bischoff. Still to this day, I'm a big Bischoff follower and all that, as we all know. And so for him, not so much as Razor Ramon, even as Razor Ramon, that was obviously a fantastic character. But then to come over as Scott Hall and just to have that monumental moment of, you don't know why I'm here.
It's like, you know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. And you knew everybody in the WWF side is like, oh shit.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not good.
I can imagine the boys backstage were like, oh, that's gonna be good.
I mean, that's a killer promo. I mean,
what a huge influence that he had on that whole scenario. I mean, him and Kevin Nash put WCW on the map in '96. At that moment, that was it.
WCW would have been nothing without them. To this day, I think that it would have, continued to just be, that spinoff of Crockett Promotions. And it, maybe it wouldn't have gone under. Maybe they wouldn't have gone as hard as they did. Maybe it would have continued to be a little bit more of a conservative wrestling show. But, then at that point, if we don't have the Monday Night Wars, where's professional wrestling today? Right? Is it lame as shit still?
Yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah. I'm sure we're still doing all kinds of garbage man and plumber and God knows what other kind of worker gimmicks you want to do.
Because it's not drawing any money, so these guys all got to have other.
This is actually their actual
other
profession.
Careers. Yeah. Britt Baker's would be the norm, right? Like, I'm a dentist, but also a professional wrestler. Like that would have been. It would.
We had a dentist.
Yeah, it was Kane.
Yeah, he was just slightly evil, which
Britt
Baker,
demented.
I guess you could say the same about. But at least her name's not Britt Yankum.
Was it a little too on the nose there? A little too on the nose. Dr. Isaac Yankum. Dr. I Yankum.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Tom, I love the shirt. Is that new?
No, this is actually very old.
Is that right?
This is one of the older NXT shirts.
It's a good one. I like that.
Anything with the black and gold with the skull, I'm all about.
Cool.
It's the metal
new old
metal
threads.
Version. It's the metal version of NXT.
Yeah, it was whenever it was fucking good. Anyways, hey, man, but for sure, for real, guys, like the things that you're saying is absolutely correct, right? Like Scott Hall, man, like I was a huge Razor Ramon fan. Like
even though he was a heel, he was hard to hate.
He was so fun to watch.
He was so hard to hate.
Fun to watch.
It was like him and Roddy Piper were like you were supposed to hate them, and they did terrible things. They were despicable. But when they did it, and they get the mic, go, hey yo, everybody, everybody.
And it's like, dude, I felt bad for the guy when he lost to 1, 2, 3 Kid. You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, I can't believe he lost to him. And like, how much fun was that, back in the day whenever we were younger, and like you knew, you heard the rumblings, but like, I
didn't hear the rumblings. I didn't know anything. wrestling was real to me, buddy. I don't know about you, but it was
and
real
back
to me.
then I hated 1-2-3 Kid because at that point I wasn't loving the wrestling itself. It was more the action, and I was like, this little punk beat Razor Ramon? No. And at that point I wasn't like, oh man, look at this technique and this is fantastic wrestling we got going on here.
I was
just a kid that was pissed.
I was the best WWF mark as a child, literally.
Not much has changed.
No. I loved all the baby faces. I hated all the heels. No, that's not true. I loved a lot of the heels too.
Yeah.
But I love, like, oh my god, you know who my favorite was, because he was on like whatever that Saturday morning thing was. It was Tatanka. I loved Tatanka, and you would see Razor Ramon also. But like Tatanka was fantastic because he was like the Saturday morning version of the Saturday morning Native American version of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate the comparison.
Because he would Hulk up like that and start doing a little tomahawk dance around the ring and then just beat whatever jobber's ass. It was great. Actually, he probably beat Razor Ramon a couple times on that program as well. But I enjoyed both of them. But yeah, I mean, just a guy who his presence was commanding. Anytime you give him a microphone, they gave him a microphone. There it was. Yeah, when they inducted him in the Hall of Fame twice, both times they just let him talk. It's like, yeah, let's let Scott Hall talk. That sounds like the right thing to do.
One of the greatest Hall of Fame speeches. Also, I'd like to point out. You're going to come across.
You want to talk about a true redemption story?
That's if you watch that the DDP yoga thing, like with him, like his transformation, like he's in a wheelchair in the beginning. The man can't walk, and then like, I mean, you want to talk? It's one of the greatest redemption stories, not just within wrestling, just period, that I've ever heard. So, I'm still hoping. I'm still hoping he kicks out of this and and it just adds to said redemption story. That would be to me, sort of the icing on the cake. So that's my hope for that. He's not counted out yet. The 3 count hasn't hit yet. We can only hope.
Absolutely. I would very much like to wish Scott Hall, best wishes, man. Let's get on the right side of this thing, because you still got stories to tell, pal. Still got stories to tell,
and I'm here to listen. I've heard them all. I've heard them all. I'll listen to the rest of them too.
Absolutely.
There's one for the bad guy.
So more sad news. Man, Big E broke his neck, man. 2 spots, cervical 1 and cervical 6. They're non-displaced fractures, which require no surgery, just extensive rehab and time away, rest and recuperation. As somebody that was in a car accident and fractured my cervical 7, the immobility piece of not being able to move your head and neck is infuriating. And it gets old really, really quickly. So, to have had 2 fractures in 2 different areas of the cervical area of the spine.
Well, it's important to point out, too, that he said that there's no damage to his spine. His spine did not take damage. So that's good news. No surgery is good news. That cervical 1 particularly is a tough one because I mean you could fracture that and become paralyzed. You could fracture that and die. It's not.
That's
uncommon.
like the clip.
Yeah.
Right? Like the C1 is the clip. That's the thing that when like people break that's how they die. Yeah. It is that cervical 1. It's so that's wild. When I read that it was a cervical 1, I was just like, holy shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, you before Big E posted anything, you were like, dude, Z1, oh my god, he may never walk again. This is we may never see him again. And you're right. I mean, you know more about unfortunately you've been in a situation to know more about this. But it's for that to happen. Dave Meltzer had said today actually that Dave Meltzer had said today actually that it's lucky for him, one, that he was he was where he was, which is where all the great all the great neck surgeons and doctors and specialists are, and two,
isn't that where Stone Cold's dude Youngblood's at? Isn't he down
Yeah.
there in Birmingham?
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize all that whenever you guys were actually mentioning that the other night.
Well, and the guys that got Daniel Bryan and Edge back out of retirement, or those guys, they're down there too. So
Not the guy that got Edge out. The guy who got Edge out's in Pittsburgh.
I just assumed it was the same guy. Anyway, so they put him in the back to tank. If you've been watching the Boba Fett book of Boba Fett, that's been over for weeks now. But yeah, no. So he apparently is going to be okay. It's just going to take some rehabbing and some getting back to it, which is fantastic. This is not. I didn't when we saw it happen. Not a thing anybody wanted to see. For Big E especially.
Yeah.
And I mean, just one of the most beloved guys, and you saw the outpour of just respect and love for this guy. But one thing I want to point out too, we're talking about redemption story, just quality human beings and redemption stories and just good stories. The big thing, one of the biggest things for Big E that I saw, he was so this man's in a neck brace, right? He just broke his neck. He's out there telling everybody, "Thank you all so much. I love you all. The overwhelming support has been breathtaking." He's telling us, he's comforting us. He's the one with a broken neck. He's been comforting us for the last few days since it happened. He comes on to comfort us, and it's like, what the hell, man? And don't comfort us. Just the quality of this man. Pile that on top to the story that you hear about him and Cody going to tell Brody Jr. about Brody Lee.
Yeah.
Just there's certain people who are special, and I feel like he's one of those special people that just, the world's a better place with him in it.
Yeah.
And every second he's breathing, he's doing everything he can to make the world better. And that's one of those things that, when something like this happens to him, and then his first instinct is to comfort us, those who love him, who he's never met. I've never met Big E.
I think that definitely measures the character of the human being, is by being able to, in your worst hour, go in and say, "Hey guys, I'm okay. I'm gonna get some sleep. I suggest you do the same." And the fact that he took that time to make sure that friends and family and fans knew that he was in good spirits. I think that went a really, really, really long way for everybody. Derek, what you got, man? Big E.
I feel like it's really tough for Big E to not be in good spirits. I mean, look at the guy. No matter what happens to this man, he's basically cutting promos on life and having a good time while he's doing it. He's comforting us, like you guys already mentioned, and he's the one that's obviously in a
his neck's broken. My neck's not broken. Why is he comforting me?
He's got quite the situation going on. I saw that the recovery time apparently was 8 to 12 weeks, which surprised the hell out of me. That seems really fast.
I don't expect to see him. Well, I think the recovery time, I think the rehab is because he's gonna lose a lot of muscle mass.
Absolutely.
Next 8 to 12 weeks. So I think that he's going to probably take a good 6 months just to get.
That's 8 to 12. That's 8 to 12 weeks of immobility.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no putting a bar on your back and doing a squat.
No. And that's 8 to 12 weeks of just wait and see, right? Because the thing is, a fracture like that doesn't necessarily heal properly. Which has, in the last couple of days since Big E announced that it was a C1, C6 fracture, a lot of folks have come out and said that this could be career ending for Big E because of the delicacy of the muscle or of the bone density in that cervical one, and the fact that it is like a little clip and it doesn't have anything to adhere to, to kind of regrow. It's already kind of does this. And any added friction or pressure could cause that to occur again. So there's a lot of like, NFL doctors and like big time people that are coming out and talking about this kind of stuff. So, I mean, I really hope that's not the case, right? Because for us to lose Big E as a talent, to something that really I feel like was avoidable. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna say that this was anybody's fault or that anything, like that was meant to happen. Um, I just saw some things that I think could have been avoided. And that's me as a fan that understands, for the most part, what these guys have to do what they do.
Well, for the longest time too, the over the head belly to back suplex was banned. It was banned along with the pile driver with all that stuff because post Benoit, post Stone Cold with his neck and all that
Well,
stuff.
Taz is what got that overhead release belly to belly banned because whenever him and Kurt had that match at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, and then but Kurt and Brock Lesnar because they wanted to do it, and it eventually just kind of worked its way back in. And Big E, I mean, it's in Big E's repertoire. His comeback is two belly to backs, and then the belly to belly like side slam thing. Like that's his hot tag. So it's really it's unfortunate is what it is. I it's always looked like a crazy move to me, and I think that's the point, right? We're supposed to go.
It's pure power.
Yeah,
It's to display pure power. I mean, that's really what it's about.
To heave a man over your head it's insanity. But to do it on the floor. I know it's done all the time, and it's one of those things where it's like they do it for the pop. They do it so that people like go. That's not a thing that I'm like. That's one of those things like with the light tubes and with the chair shots and with the death matches and stuff. To me, it's like one of those things where it's like, I've already lived through this Attitude Era and I've seen what's happened to, my favorite people, some of my favorite people ever, and just the struggles that they've had with it or their careers cut short, lives cut short, because of it. And it's just one of those things where it's like, this isn't something that I want to see anybody else who I like, who I'm genuinely a fan. I'm genuinely huge Big E fan, huge New Day fan. Genuinely, like I was just gushing about how wonderful, how special of a human he is. And, this is not something I want to see happen to anybody, let alone somebody I admire as much as I admire Big E. So here's hoping that, this week of sadness sort of lets up on us here and kind of we get some good news.
So I have a follow-up question about all of this, right? And when you get out there and you start digging into the forums and you see what everybody's talking about, stuff like that, you always get this air, this like little bit of air, this negative air that floats in the forums and shit. And a couple of months ago, man, we had something similar happen with Madcap Moss, where he got dumped on his head too. And
he didn't get hurt though.
No, but it leads me to ask this question. And Derek, I want to get your opinion on this first. Are we rushing these guys along too much, too quickly, too soon?
Actually, what I was going to bring up, and that is probably a portion of it, but what I was going to say that no one else I don't believe has mentioned up to this point is whenever we're going to do moves of this nature, you kind of need to look at the body type of each participant and say, so for instance with Taz, he's a short guy. He's body slammed a lot of people. Obviously, Ridge Holland is a smaller guy compared to Big E. Was this a good idea before we ask any other questions? Was it done properly? I don't know. I don't have any sort of formal training. I don't. Obviously, we know it wasn't done properly because we've all seen this happen a million times, and for the most part, it's all been fine.
Right.
But yeah, the whole whose idea was this? Who signed off on this? What what producer
Yeah,
at this
like
point was like, yeah, all right, that'll be a good idea because he's
did we
twice your
question
weight
this in
and
the walkthrough? Is really what I think the question you're trying to ask is.
Yeah,
Did we question
basically.
this in the walkthrough?
yeah, like
because
it
I mean
just
that's perfectly legitimate too. I think that somebody like Ridge Holland, not that I don't think Ridge Holland is a big strong guy, but is
of course absolutely is, but
is Big E the kind of guy he should be throwing over his head, right?
exactly.
I think
that's exactly what I'm trying to get at.
like maybe
If this was Woods, then I'd be like, okay,
right,
like obviously he can pick up and
maybe he has an easier time doing it with Woods or Kofi. Do you have me throw somebody over my head? Like no, like I'm not strong enough to do that.
Do I throw Walt over my head? It's like that.
Right.
Like no,
Yeah, it's like
that's dangerous.
Yeah,
for both of us.
Yeah,
Look,
but I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but like you're talking about two guys that have identical body types, like.
But Ridge Holland, I don't think. And back to your point, we calling people up too early, or we having them do that. I think that he's is he used to doing this move? Yeah, I think he is. Is he used to doing this move on men the size of Big E? No, absolutely not. And I don't think that, especially on the outside of the ring, where it's not quite as padded. I mean, I don't know how
you
padded
don't have just the exact same amount of spring. You're not going to get that extra little bump off the ring mat that you would being in the middle.
I just to Tom, to give you an idea of the mats that they use those zebra rollaway mats. All right. And anybody that has ever been in a jiu-jitsu school or an MMA gym or anything like that, a lot of these places use those zebra rollaway mats. They're really, really nice, right? They're stiff, but they have a lot of give to them, and it makes things.
They bounce.
They
have a bounce.
Yeah, you got a little give to it, little bounce. It feels, whenever you hit it. So they're firm, but they're not. It's not like working on concrete.
No.
Of course.
So, I think that this is probably the safest outside mat that WWE has ever used.
Oh, for sure.
In the history
of
ever.
and I didn't mean to come in here questioning that. It was more of like I feel like you would get an extra spring in your step, so to speak, by
gives you a little more
inside
lift
the ring
to be able to. Because the other thing about those too is they're more of a cushion. They're not much of a spring. They don't bounce. They bounce, but they bounce in a way where if you hit it flat, you'll go. It's instead of just going swack. So I think that the point being is, I think it comes down to physics, and somebody didn't think this through. Nobody thought it through, and that's the problem. And nobody thought it through. The physics weren't right, and it just didn't work. And it didn't work, and now a man has a broken neck, and we wish him the best in his recovery. But this is one of those things now that I think they need to be a little more careful with. Thankfully, it seems like, hopefully, all goes well and he comes back and he's back in 6 months or whatever, and it's fine. That's obviously what everybody wants, right? That's
yes. Absolutely. And I
that
have no
seems
doubt
to
in my
be
mind it's something that they'll evaluate moving forward as far as.
But yeah, exactly. I think moving forward, I think it's important to evaluate this as okay. Maybe we just do a belly to belly, like just boom, and not so much like let me heave this dude over my head out here.
Sorry, Bailey, but your signature is now just a common move. Everybody does the belly to Bailey.
It always has been.
Oh, come on.
The Bailey to belly? Yeah. Sorry, I'd let Penny out. She got anxious.
Well, at least you just have the cat that makes noises and not Alexa that has insufferable gas, and then I don't know what the hell the other set of noises was supposed to be. I don't know what's going on in my house. I apologize to all of our fan base. It's kind of embarrassing. I sent a nasty text to Jeff Bezos just a few minutes ago. This is unacceptable.
Fresh off of the WWE Twitter, WWE is saddened to learn that two-time WWE Hall of Famer Scott Hall has passed away.
Fuck.
WWE extended its condolences to Hall's family, friends, and fans. Twitter's kind of blowing up about this. John Alba, Scott Hall's death is tragic, but his redemption story is his defining legacy. This story could have ended more than a decade ago, but with the right people around him, he didn't let it. That's a badass. That's the bad guy. And I think we just talked about that. So, like, that's a great take. Man, the Mark Madden, Scott Hall, rest in peace. A true friend to me. I will cherish his memory and love him forever. I hope he knew how I felt about him. Scott made me laugh. He made me think, and he made me better. Scott was one of a kind. So, I mean, just the positive outpouring of respect for Scott Hall continues. It's just, man, that sucks, man. That sucks. Obviously condolences to his family, and it's a sad day for wrestling fans everywhere.
Yeah.
Really and truly is.
We were hoping for the kick out to the end. I think that's the man. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say.
I saw it and I figured I'd better mention it. So
I was staying away because I knew that it might. I just had a feeling, right? Yeah, that feeling that like it could come up whilst we're hanging out here.
And the worst part is like her timing couldn't
be worse.
It's really like, inappropriate. I mean, it's really inappropriate. Apparently, Scott Hall has now let the dogs out.
Scott Hall has let the dogs out. Yeah,
you heard it here first on One Fall WrestleCast.
Yeah.
Thanks,
anyways, man,
thank you
that
to
sucks.
my wife.
That sucks real bad. Let's move on though. Try to do a wrestling podcast here, I guess.
What do you guys else want to talk about? You want to talk about some bad booking?
Well, we got to talk about other things before we get to that. I don't know that my heart's in that yet. Can we talk about Butch first?
Yeah. Forgot about Butch.
How could you forget about Butch?
How bad is it to see Butch standing beside WWE superstars on Raw compared to NXT? I never realized the size of Pete Dunne.
Well, that's why
until it was like, whoa.
I'm telling you right
brother
now.
Luke?
So Luke is actually Rich Holland's first name. Did you know that?
No, you're
Holland's
ribbing
first
me
name is
right
Luke?
now.
No, it's gonna be because of the Bushwhackers, yeah?
Yeah.
So Luke's actually Rich Holland's first name.
Oh my god.
So it's
Vince
either
is just being
an
a douche
homage.
on this one.
So it's either an homage / slight for that, or whatever.
You mean like one of those Bearcat situations where like it's a tribute, but it's also the worst thing you could ever pin on somebody?
Keith Lee says, "Yeah, man, I'm the one that tried to connect those dots on the Bearcat thing." He was like, "Nope, that's not what it was.
It's like putting polka dots on Dusty.
Like, Bearcat.
Yeah.
Bearcat.
Mm-hmm. Don't look at me.
But
don't look at
as far as Butch goes, I mean, it could be worse. I've heard worse wrestling names.
Yeah, like Gunther.
Yeah, exactly. My dog growing up was Butch. Well, I don't know if you remember Butch.
Yeah,
little guy, little guy.
Yeah,
Butch was my dog. So I tend to have fond memories of said name. That being said, it's really dumb because like Pete Dunne has already been like he's been on Raw before as Pete Dunne plenty of times, plenty of times. So many times.
He's the Bruce.
Was in the he was in Survivor Series like 2 years ago as Pete Dunne.
He's held belts, McAfee, right? He's trying. He's like, so we know him as another name elsewhere, but Butch, there he is, and it's like, nice try, Pat.
Does Butch have a last name?
Pat McAfee literally had a feud with this man.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And they were on the same. They were on the same
team. They were War Games together.
Undisputed. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's like, let's totally forget about like that. Like for Pat McAfee, it's like they're like erasing his legacy, legacy as well. His all the Pat McAfee matches, all one of them. Because he was.
two.
You're right. There was two. I'm
about to be three.
About to be 3. I'm actually pretty stoked for that one. They actually hyped that up pretty good. I was not expecting that on Friday for Pat to just fire up and like beat the shit out of him. I was not expecting that. They got me fired up. But anyway, I digress. Now, Butch is not the worst name they could have gave him. If it wasn't Pete Dunne last week on a show that I watched, I'd have been like, oh, Butch, whatever. Okay, some guy in suspenders, looks like he drinks and fights, and put him with the other guys in suspenders who drink and fight. Whatever.
That's
great.
terrible.
So they put that little cabbie hat on him, you know, like
they didn't make him cut his hair though.
I like those, right? Like I wear those. Like,
yes, you do.
Always makes fun of them, right? But like Pete Dunne's got his long hair and he's got this bun on the top of his head.
It's like
and they put this cabbie hat on.
He wore it like way up here,
like right here.
Yeah,
just like.
That's
he's gonna be in a top hat next week.
At least whenever you had a man bun, you never wore the cabbie hat with it.
They're gonna put him.
That's gonna be a whole nother level of me giving you shit if that happens.
They're gonna Clockwork Orange him next week. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna have the thing under their eye. They're gonna be in the top hats and like the white button up like underclothes. I go talk about like this. They are.
This is a broken man that is working for a paycheck.
They're gonna talk like this. They are,
bro. He looks so goddamn disappointed outside the ring. He's just standing there trying to be mad, and he's like, "I'm in these fucking suspenders and this stupid fucking hat."
You could tell they dumped this Butch gimmick on him like 20 minutes after he showed up.
Yeah, like 20 minutes before he comes out. Yeah, absolutely.
And he was like, "You fucking serious? Wait, you guys are ribbing me. This is a rib, right?
Throw these suspenders on, fella. You're one of us now.
Fella, you're one of us now." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know what? Like, Sheamus makes that shit look good, right? Like, but God,
Sheamus can pull it off. But you know,
you're
you're followers of idiocy.
You know what? This is sort of the sink or swim moment, though, is it not? This is the like, here's a bunch of chicken shit, turn it into chicken salad.
But why do we have to keep doing that, fellas? Why?
Because he's a little guy. I think that's really what it is. It's because he's a little guy, and Vince wants him. Because let's think about X-Pac, right? Let's think about X-Pac. Comes out as the 1, 2, 3 kid.
Well, he's a Lightning Kid first,
right? Lightning Kid, then 1, 2, 3 kid. Then he leaves, and is 6-pack, right?
Yes.
In WCW.
Trivia question: do you know why he changed his name to 6?
I do not.
Derek, do you?
No, I just figured he liked the color green, and that was the color of the pool table ball, and that was
1
cool
plus
on a
2
shirt.
plus 3.
Oh shit! Look at you.
Actually, now that you say that,
isn't that interesting? So never heard of that. That's cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nice. So 6-pack.
Useless One Fall trivia for you.
And then he comes back.
Hey, Victor and Hernandez in the chat. 1 plus 2 plus 3. See, look at that. We got viewers that are smarter than you, little Dick Derek.
I didn't know either. It's fine. Don't pick on just Derek. Look, hey, when I'm wrong, it's fine to also pick on me. I can take
Victor just won a free shirt from Walt, so get with him in the privates afterwards, and he'll get your address and your shirt size.
Listen, seriously though, since Derek's up here doing that, if you want a shirt, hit me over on Instagram at @1_Fall WC.
There you go. You're welcome, Victor. Thanks for tuning in, bud.
Anyway, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, they saddle somebody with kind of a dumb gimmick, and he works the Saturday morning shows and the side hokey guy. I mean, let's not forget Dave Bautista came out holding a collection box with a chain around his neck.
That's fair.
And he ended up Dave Bautista. So,
but he's also a monster.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pete Dunne is also yoked and really good at wrestling. So,
if he's standing in the AEW locker room, maybe not so much on
he
Raw.
Might be. Look, he might be in 6 months.
I've got to be honest on this one.
In 6 months,
I love AEW. But.
In 6 months, he might be standing in the AEW locker room. I'm not saying that hasn't happened to literally everybody almost who has come up and then been renamed. Bearcat.
Yeah, I could never imagine Adam Cole if he would have actually made it to the main brand and been on Raw, seeing him standing beside fucking Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin, let's say, for instance, who's not generally conceived as a huge guy, but still standing beside him would be like, oh, all right. So it's like
Baron Corbin's a huge dude. He's
Yeah.
probably 6'4", almost 300 pounds.
I had
280,
no
285.
idea that the bruiserweight was not so bruiserish until you set him up beside Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Like,
Look,
he's just
Sheamus,
another guy,
Sheamus
like me.
All right, we need to move on.
He's just a little guy.
like me.
Sheamus is a big boy though too. Like,
Sheamus
so
is
I mean,
huge.
listen.
Have you
Eric,
ever
I
met?
can't believe-
Have you
can't
ever
believe
met Sheamus? Have you ever seen
No.
Sheamus? Oh my! I saw him at a just it was like at a meet and greet type of. It was like at a Comic-Con type deal, and like I saw him walk in. I wasn't even lying. I just saw the man walk in. It wasn't quite like seeing Kane walk in like 1997. It wasn't quite like it were 1998. It wasn't quite like seeing Kane walk in like and have to duck to get into like a hotel like ballroom. But watching him walk in, it's like just in like he's in jeans and a t-shirt, but the man is like this wide and is literally like 6 something, and it's like what the hell, like they just it's like a wall just walked in. Huge dude. And Ridge Holland also must be a huge dude because they stand him next to Sheamus.
Yeah, because he stands
So-
up nicely to him. I mean, it's not like he looks out of place.
No,
at
they
all.
absolutely look like but Pete Dunne he's just a little guy.
He was a little out of place. I hate to say it. I don't have any
But
problem with
listen,
Pete Dunne.
he's-
I love what he's done in NXT, but it just looks.
Look,
a little out of
I'm
place.
really excited. I think what they're going to do with Pete Dunne is he's going to be their like tiny angry dog,
Yeah.
and maybe the tiny angry dog's name is Butch.
You just made him a Chihuahua. I don't like this.
What's another tiny angry dog that's less Spanish,
Wiener dog.
more British?
No, wiener dogs are, man. They're chill.
Yeah.
They bite you with those little teeth. You're just thinking of Oliver and Company. Why should I worry?
You never know what kind of entertainment you're going to get on our wrestling podcast.
Oh shit! Listen, it's good.
Where
So
are we at?
Butch, man, though Pete Dunne. Yeah, I'm kind of with Tom, man. I'm interested to see where it's at. I think that just think reverse China, right? Like China was a heat magnet because she's this massive woman that's taking care of these 2 world-class performers. Just flip it around. You got angry little dog.
I'm interested to see what happens because I'm interested to see what Pete Dunne does with it. Like, does he take this as his chicken shit to chicken salad moment, or does he just get depressed and fall on his face? And I think that's really, this is his sink or swim moment with that. It's not going to be all on his shoulders. Obviously, he could do everything right.
Nah, but he's got to own it though too.
He's got to own it, right?
Yep.
He's got to step in. He can't just be bitter about it. Which, to his credit, he's only really fired off 1 tweet since. But he seems to be on board, at least for the moment, about it, or at least partially. But yeah, he's got to, if he owns it and he does good with it, I do think that because Butch could always just be some shitty nickname and he could be Pete Dunne again, right?
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't have to be that way. But at the same time, like, you got to be able to do, as the little guy, you got to prove your worth, I think. And I think, a lot of the guys who are on the roster have done the chicken shit to chicken salad kind of thing. And this, truthfully, look, if you're going to get paired with somebody, it ain't that bad to get stuck in a group with Sheamus, right?
Nah,
there's
I would
way
say
worse
absolutely
people.
not.
They could just have you chasing the 24/7 champ around.
There's a lot of that going on too, so
It could be way worse. Like you could hold wine for Reggie. Like there's way worse places to be than standing next to Sheamus getting ready to throw punches on a former world champ.
yeah.
Because that's what he did.
That's
Beat
exactly
down
what he did.
That's so I just saying. We'll see where it goes.
It's unfortunate because the gimmick's shitty, but I think that's one thing that's like not being talked about enough, Tom, is the primetime spot that he debuted in, with the New Day, throwing hands on a former world champion, standing next to fucking Sheamus. So you're
Can he
absolutely
get it over?
right.
Can he get it like? Because if he can get it over, what can't he get over? Right.
Listen,
but
I'm just gonna say what everybody's thinking. Okay, if he can get this over, he'd be the first and only one of those NXT guys to be handed something dog shit and get it over.
Yeah, he'd be the first one. Exactly. You're absolutely.
Keith Lee couldn't do it. Karrion Kross couldn't do it.
Nope.
Tommaso Ciampa's the only one that come out of this smelling like roses. He's still Tommaso Ciampa. The only thing that changed for him was his theme music. And
he stepped up and owned the theme music too.
Yep, good on him.
To be fair to Ciampa, although they could push him out there as Tits McGee next week,
but I think he's also in a point in time in his career too where he's just going to be like, "I'll go home."
That's true. Yeah, he may. He's no young kid. He's made enough money because he's been in this for 20 years now, and he's been a top tier guy for 20 years. He's been on. His NXT contract is more money than we've ever made.
Yo, yeah.
So, let's say he's probably got a few mil in the bank, and if he just wants to leave and be like, "No, I'm not going to do this," and they can leave him in catering or just whatever, and just either one not pay him, or if he leaves, how do you not? If you're AEW, how do you not pick him up immediately? Right?
Yeah, but that's also one of those things that's up to him, man, because he's very much.
Or maybe he just goes home. He lives in Florida.
He's been very vocal about the fact that, hey, like, my family comes first, man, and like, if I don't feel like this is doing what it's supposed to be doing to take care of my family, then I'm gonna go and take care of my family. So, it's gonna be interesting. It's going to be interesting, but absolutely, I agree with you 110% that this is chicken shit to chicken salad moment for him. And I hope he gets it over, man. I really do. And then maybe he can go back to being the bruiserweight. We're dealing with the similar thing with Piper Niven over on Raw right now, where she was given a shit gimmick and she's out there and she's getting over, man.
She's in the main event picture. I don't think that they're going to put it on, but like consistently, consistently, she's consistently we need a heel.
Yeah.
Get Doudrop. And you know what? She goes out there, she delivers. When they give her the mic, she delivers. Everything they fired Eva Marie. They kept Doudrop. Doudrop's still in the main event. So I think they could be the two, right? It could be both of them. Because I still think Doudrop's a dumb name. It's dumber than Butch.
Absolutely dumb.
It's dumber than Butch. But she's making it work, and she's in the main event picture. And if he makes it work and he gets to the main event picture or whatever, the Intercon, he'd be a perfect opponent for Ricochet. He'd be a perfect opponent for Finn Balor. He was a perfect opponent for Finn Balor. Jesus, what am I even talking about? They did that.
Yeah.
Like 6 months ago, 8 months ago. So I think that it's a matter of what's he do with this moment? They changed his name. It's not even that bad of a name. It's just not it's dumb. It's just it's kind of a weird how am I supposed to pretend I'm not the same guy?
Yeah, it's weird. How did we get here? Is I think
I was this guy before already, and now you're back. But you know what?
Well,
Kane did
what
it too.
is Butch? And he's had years to build up this whole character of the bruiserweight, and the fingers, and whenever he had the belt, he'd come out with it in his teeth, and it was a great presentation.
Well, he
had his own gimmick. No one else has done that. Why take all that away?
It's over. Look, because
it was over.
Well, I'm just saying
it's legit over.
Now it's legit. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's done and it's over. Right, but it's look. Do I think that they should it should be Pete Dunne? They can still put him in suspenders in the hat and just make him stand next to because that's what they wear. That's what Sheamus and they should just dress them all together, and they could just be bar fight.
It's fight night.
Because it's fight night.
Or fight McGillicuddy. I think the big thing here, fellas, is we all know that the problem is it's not a name that Vince owned the trademark to.
Well, absolutely.
I'm sure that has
100%
huge,
that's the problem.
Just like Walter, He's now Gunther.
Doesn't know my name.
You know, I mean, if you wouldn't have trademarked it all those years ago,
Hey,
we wouldn't have this problem.
you know, I mean, when you fuck.
What we gonna do?
You know what else is over? Done. Over. Doesn't exist. Sammy Guevara's TNT title reign.
Boo! All right, I have to talk about this actually because as great as his
Go ahead,
TNT
because I
title
didn't
reign
see
was-
this match. This is the match
Okay,
I did not see it.
So the
disappoints
final
me, but I
match,
know
his
you-
final match, it was stupid. It was like it was put together by complete fucking idiots. First of all, they did that AEW thing where nobody gets counted out, despite the half the match taking place outside of the ring. Can nobody count in AEW? Nobody can count in AEW. So there's one point in the match too, because I watched this twice. Because I watched this. This can't be as stupid as I saw it. Like live. Like I gotta watch this again. There's one point where they're both outside of the ring. Sammy Guevara half rolls into the I feel like just maybe like his head kind of rolls into the ring, and then he pops back out to continue fighting. They've been outside now for 2 minutes at least, and like Sammy Guevara's like, oh, I better break the count. There's my head in the ring, and then comes back out, back to what he's doing. Like, what? How are they not counting this? First of all, and then that's the last time there's a count at all in this match. They get back in the ring for maybe a minute or two, and then there's some more outside bullshit. There's a point in outside bullshit where Sammy Guevara is beaten down on Scorpio Sky. There's a table. I can't remember where the table came from, but there's just a random table. This is not a tables match, by the way. This is a regular straight up wrestling match, right? This isn't TLC. This isn't a hardcore match. This is anything like that. There's a table on the outside of the ring, like as you're coming down the ramp, like on the side here. He puts Scorpio Sky on this table and then goes, I'm crazy to the crowd. I swear to God, it takes him a month to get into the ring, get up on top of the turn. Once he's up on top of the turnbuckle, he goes, I'm crazy. Again, twice, right? Twice, 2 times. Jumps off to the outside of the ring. Scorpio Sky rolls off the table because now he's been there for 35 seconds plus. He's been able to recover. So either Sammy's an idiot, or like also, how is Scorpio Sky not counted out, or nobody's counted out? Like this is all just like he's taking a nap. It's dumb. Anyway, jumps off, bam, through the table, dead. So dead. Not only that, at this point, then the doctors run out. As well as Ty Conti run out. Now, mind you, this is a regular wrestling match, okay? This is not a hardcore match. This is not a death match. This is not a tables, ladders, and chairs match. This is not a false count anywhere match. This is nothing like that. Ty Conti runs out. Doctors come out. Excalibur says the match will continue after the break. Wait, what? What do you mean the match will continue?
And then they kept it in picture.
He just laid there for like the whole commercial break. He laid there for the whole commercial break. Ty Conti's there fawning over Scorpio Sky. I don't know what he's doing in the ring because they're not looking at him, but he's back in the ring. Like, nobody's counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 500. Like, just apparently countouts don't happen during commercial breaks, okay?
No, but they'll sure let Orange Cassidy pin somebody during a
absolutely. Absolutely, they'll let Orange Cassidy pin somebody during a picture-in-a-picture. So anyway, Ty Conti's out there. First of all, I realized this because Jim Cornette said it, because I already knew this, so it wasn't shocking to me that she was out there. But the TV audience does not know that Ty Conti's his girlfriend now. Like, if you follow him on Instagram, obviously you know. And that's what but they're like, if you just watch on TV, like if you're Derek's dad, you're like, what the fuck's she doing out there? Why's she there?
Who the fuck is this bitch?
Last time I saw him talk about any girls, he proposed to some other lady in November.
But she didn't look like Tay Conti.
She didn't look like Tay Conti. No, exactly.
Legitimately.
So anyway,
I don't mean that.
Will you leave them alone? They're
legitimately
shaming their relationship.
I'm not shaming it. I just wish that like it made sense that on television. Like either make it make sense on television or leave it out. Like
yeah,
anyway.
He probably should have just done none of that.
So anyway, apparently he's dead. and they started it in picture-in-picture, but the picture-in-picture goes away for like I want to say live. It was a herpes commercial. It went away.
Nothing is everything.
No, it was either that or it was what's not syphilis? What's the other one? The one that all the boomers have. Hepatitis. It was a hepatitis commercial that
Right.
the picture. Dude,
Have you stepped on a rusty nail?
no, but this is how look. This is how bad this was. It was comical. Okay, this is funny to me. All right, so during hepatitis commercial, it goes away. Apparently, they clean Sammy up. They give him a little red spank in his cheek.
Tetanus shot to the ass.
Yeah, the doctor chucks him back in the ring. Nobody knows why, like, he's allowed to be doctored up and, like, they take a break so that he could get back in to fight more. Anyway, so they come back from the picture-to-picture, and Sammy's fine. He is 100% standing up, getting offense. And at this point, this is where the match just flew off the rails. It was like, this man was dead going into the commercial break. But during the commercial break, somebody, like, gave him cocaine, and now he's alive again after falling to his death. I watched him fall to his death. His girlfriend came out to give him the last rites. Anyway, he ends up losing anyway. So all of this was for naught. I don't know who put this match together.
So listen,
but
funny
they
story.
shouldn't be allowed to put matches together anymore.
Funny story, right? So you talk about because you watched it live on Wednesday. I watched a replay on Friday. Your criticism has been out there about Sammy Guevara just winds up in the ring and nobody quite understands what happened.
It's because there's a hepatitis C commercial going on.
In the replay, they edited it so that the picture-in-picture stayed.
Oh God!
With the commercial,
okay.
And Sammy goes back. He fights off the doctors and goes back in the ring.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
So he fought off the doctors.
Yes.
And then was 100% again.
Yes.
Great.
But how?
Even I, over here in this corner, the top right corner, as you'll always find me, which I'd like to call the AEW area, has to agree with you on this one. I'm sorry.
He fights back from the brink of death and loses anyway.
Right.
So I mean, it's not even like it was like a poorly told redemption story. Like none of that needed to happen. There was no point in any of that. They all should have been counted out, but nobody was counted out. And
so all that was a vehicle for them to include Paige Van Zandt. That's all that was.
Sure.
That entire spot was to just get Paige Van Zandt in that spot.
And to be completely fair, I'm going to sit here and talk shit on Paige Van Zandt just as I did for Ronda Rousey because it's
her
fucking
butthole's
bullshit
on the internet, though.
you're going to come in here and you're going to act like you're a huge wrestling. I don't care.
He didn't hear what I
butthole.
just. Why not?
I don't care about her butthole.
It's fine.
I can Google anybody's butthole.
That's not true.
I mean, Google image
my
butthole.
butthole.
I mean,
It's finely
there.
tuned.
I'll just text Lindsay. If I ever had a need for your butthole to send to Tom as a fucked up joke, that's where I would go, is right to your wife. And I'm sure she would graciously give me a
Ew, this
shot.
flew
Bro.
off a roll. This went
Bro.
somewhere I don't want to be.
Bro, my wife doesn't even like looking at my foot. You
I'm gonna
think
have to be
she's
like,
got butthole pictures on her phone?
Do one of these, Linz. I'm sorry. You're my girl.
Like, I'll sit in a chair. I'll sit in a chair with no socks on. Wife's like, "Oh, we cover those things up."
Yeah.
And
This
you're
has
over
gotten
here
off
talking
the
about
rails.
butthole pictures.
But
Good luck with that.
I don't know how to get us back on track.
So then allow me to do it. So I
Yes,
mean, listen,
please.
bud. Here's the thing. I agree with Tom. I watched the match, and I know that you can't sit here and have story time with Tom and not understand that was moment for moment what happened. Like they went through a whole commercial break.
It actually sounds quite terrible.
With no count.
I'm very disappointed.
But it was like it was a regular match. The AEW did the AEW. Like if this was a hardcore match, if this was something where there wasn't a count out, you could have done this. But it was like, hey, let's put this TLC spot in this regular match. Like, if it was a TLC match, great. But here's the thing: it couldn't be a TLC match because I believe TLC match it's still a ladder match, right? They still hang the belt.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously he was dead for like 3 hours outside. So like Scorpio Sky could have easily like rolled back in the ring, flopped around a little bit like a fish, and still like made coffee and then climbed and got it. But that was
I don't know. Those ladders are apparently really tough to climb. Like I've never climbed a true, authentic wrestling ladder, but they're obviously much steeper than normal contracting ladders. As we've seen over the years, they're very difficult to climb. Yes.
Apparently, you can stand on the top of one for an extended period of time.
Hey,
only once you've won the belt.
You're aware that those are just spray painted contractors' ladders, right, bud?
No, that doesn't seem like that. No. If that was the case, then they should.
He's kayfabing me.
I'm keeping.
Yeah,
they should go out on the job with other contractors. Like, how do you guys climb these ladders so fast? Put some roofing shingles on my shoulder, would you? And then I'm going to climb up here real fast. And
that's the
because this is going to be part of my training.
Yeah, you gotta put that's what they ought to do.
Why is this difficult? I'm from West Virginia. I've got it figured out. I know.
So what you're telling me is those orange fiberglass ladders are much easier to get up than those the spray painted black ladders that happen to be under every ring.
Steel
ladder. Right.
Hey, so I'm not mad at the fact that the title changed hands, though. Like, I really like where Scorpio Sky's at.
I'm glad for Scorpio Sky. Absolutely.
I have a thought too about that because here's why. So, who's the next challenger for the TNT title?
Wardlow.
Yeah. So, was Wardlow going to beat the shit out of Super Babyface Sammy Guevara? Was he going to powerbomb Symphony Sammy Guevara? Now that Wardlow's a babyface that just cut his. I
kind of wish he would have though.
Son of a plum up. Wardlow just
I wouldn't have been
on
mad
the
at
same.
him. He can still be a babyface and he can still slam Sammy. I don't care.
On the same show, he cut his own son of a plumber promo. He literally cut that promo.
You guys knew what I was talking about in the group chat on Wednesday night when I said, "Oh, and he can talk."
Yeah, that was a great promo.
He talks well.
Wow.
Very nice.
Who knew?
Wow.
Why didn't I know that?
MJF knew. That's why he kept him quiet the whole time.
Wow.
I've been watching this guy for 2 fucking years. How did I not know that?
I got news for you guys. That motherfucker's a star.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Star.
A star.
Him and Ricky Stocks.
And here's the thing, right? Top. Here's the thing. JR's been saying that shit for 3 years. He's like, I'm telling you what, man. Wardlow's the next guy. Wardlow's the guy. I'm telling you, Wardlow.
Okay, I love me some JR, but let's be honest here. That was the only piece of prime meat that JR saw from the WWE era. That he was like, that's our guy right there. That's Blue Chipper. That's Blue Chipper right there.
I'm telling you right now, if WWE is not interested in Wardlow, I don't know nothing about the WWE. I am 100% that they're like, this guy could be the heir to Roman Reigns.
I'm sure they're like, hey, we'll trade you Butch for Wardlow.
That's why they picked. Listen, that's exactly why they picked up Brian. Hey, that's why TK and AEW picked up Brian Cage's fucking option is to keep him away from WWE.
Oh, for sure.
Change my mind.
Even he said he was surprised.
Just because they don't know what to do with him doesn't mean that Vince doesn't look at him and go, Paul.
I guarantee you he's going to take a run up against Wardlow, and he's gonna eat the loss. But
change my mind.
It's going to be a big man match eventually.
Because at no point, at any point, could they be like, Paul, this is your new boy, and you just need to get him over. Roman does not need Paul Heyman anymore, although that was gold, but he doesn't need it anymore. So like, if they get Brian Cage, they could immediately be like, Paul Heyman. Brian Cage is a Paul Heyman guy. They'll call him like Johnny Nitro or something, but
Roman and Brock are so good on their own at this point. And I never thought I'd say that about Brock, but yeah. Absolutely.
Roman's promo were like, these are my people. They tune in to watch me. This is my cameraman. He works for me. I had chills the whole. I mean, this was a couple weeks ago now, but oh my god,
it's another level.
It's new level stuff. It's like nobody ever had the balls to not have the balls, but like nobody's ever given a promo like that where it's like, this is my show, I'm in charge, he works for me, and you know what? Roman's gonna beat him. Roman's gonna beat Brock.
Yep.
It's gonna happen.
Speaking of, so there's this thing floating around the internet, and I die laughing every time I see it. They're like, "Oh, did WWE accidentally leak a new design for the Unified Championship?" Right. So it's this thing, this trailer that they put outside of WrestleMania. Okay, it's like this skeleton of like the WWE Championship, but it's got like a blue check and like a red background or some shit, right? And they've literally used that at every fucking live event they go to.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's the most generic shit they can come up with. And they're like, oh, this is it.
It used to have like black trash bags around it. Now it's just a frame.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
it's been here for months.
Here. Fucking idiots.
Well, so here's the thing: is I feel like wrestling journalism now is becoming very much like gaming journalism, is in a sense where there's like they've got these people who are like essentially new to wrestling, but came out of journalism school and are like, oh, hey, you want to write for this wrestling column? Yeah. I loved the Ruthless Aggression era. It was fantastic. John Cena. And that's the extent of what they know. It's like when Razor Ramon passes away, they're like, who? What's an outsider? And it's like, what? And it's like, I don't know that you have to be a historian necessarily on everything that happened in wrestling in the last 60 years or whatever. But like, I know who Bruno Sammartino is. Like, I saw the man wrestle like on tape. On tape, obviously. I heard secondhand. Like, I am a third generation wrestling fan. We'll put it that way. We talk about second and third generation wrestlers. I'm a third generation wrestling fan. My grandma, my father's mother, one of the biggest wrestling fans. Well, obviously, she's from Pittsburgh. She grew up in McKees Rocks. Loved Bruno Sammartino. Why? Italian. Loved this lad. Loved him. Oh my God. Would go to the show. Would boo. Would like they're the crazy ladies trying to hit the heel with the purse. That's my grandma. And God rest her soul, she's been gone for like 15 years now. But I would watch like when my parents would go grocery shopping, or not grocery shopping, when they go Christmas shopping for us. Like, we didn't know because it was still Santa, but we were kids, right? They go Christmas shopping on Saturday nights.
Whoa.
Hey, wait, am I breaking kayfabe here?
What do you mean, Santa?
Anyway, my parents would go Christmas shopping late into the evenings on Saturdays when I was just a tyke and leave me and my sisters with my grandma. My grandma would totally watch wrestling with me. And we would like this was the only time I get to watch like Saturday night's main event was with my grandma at her house, because like I'd be like, Grandma, Mom and Dad aren't back yet. Can we watch wrestling? And like I was such a pain in the ass. The fact that like I was like, hey, can we like do this one thing like together? She'd be like, absolutely. And like she'd get fired up about it too. My grandfather didn't understand. He was like, what the hell are you watching? But my grandma would yell like, pin him! Anyway, point being is that, wrestling journalism ain't what it used to be. It's like gaming journalism now, where it's like, these people didn't break their teeth on Castlevania and Mario. They showed up somewhere with Pokemon or whatever. What's not Farmville? What's the other one, the Nintendo one where you build your shit?
Animal Crossing?
Animal Crossing. There we go. See, I didn't play it. Anyway, so like, they show up. It was like, I played Animal Crossing when I was 9.
Yeah, I got a Sweet Island on my Switch, boy.
Yeah.
You can come visit.
I played my Animal Crossing on my 3DS. And that's how I grew up.
You make me sound like a piece of shit.
Because you are a piece of shit.
I'm 35 years old with a sweet-ass island. I don't want to hear it.
Derek's going to be the first person to enter the metaverse. I can feel it.
Wait, okay. I know we're already over an hour.
I think that was going to open up a can of worms.
Okay, I'm totally shifting. Derek, you have 30 seconds. You need to give us your honest-to-God review of WWE 2K20. You've now been playing it hard, I know, for 3 days. You have 30 seconds. Hold on. When we get to in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome everybody to the must-see TV promo of WWE 2K22, baby! This game right here, everybody, we have waited for 2 years and 3 months for its release. And finally, we have something to call golden. This game...
And time, you're done. What the fuck, dude? I said 30 seconds.
Oh, sorry, man. I was trying to make it, like, nice, you know?
Fail.
Anyways, Pat,
I was
I
going to let
fucking
him
love
go,
it.
man.
No.
I was
not.
captivated. He had.
I was not going to let him go.
I was pouring whiskey.
Damn. No.
Time's
Guys,
up.
it's
So
great.
it's good.
I fucking love
Is it good?
It's way good. Whenever
All right.
I first came into it, I was kind of disappointed because the controls are a little off, and I didn't understand the combo system. I didn't like it. It still takes a little bit of thinking, but I've played it now on both the Xbox Series X and regular Xbox versions. My faction is a great system. I haven't done my GM yet. My Rise is fun. The Rey Mysterio storyline, good shit. I'm actually gonna start us up on a. I got a capture card. We're gonna start a little My Rise for the One Fall WrestleCast peoples to just follow along the campaign, see where we go, see where we end up, and yeah, it's way worth the wait. I'm very, very impressed. I love the new camera angles. The character models are fucking phenomenal. I mean, it is good stuff. Like, everything looks so smooth. Even hair. That's one thing that I was always so shitty about, because everybody has long hair. It's always wet, you know. So in real life, that looks good. And the video games look like trash.
Oh, you're finally giving kudos to hair.
I'm gonna give kudos to hair.
Bro, I've been hearing this for like fucking 12 years about the hair.
They've done well. It's very, very surprising.
He even complimented the hair movement in Battlegrounds as opposed to anything prior.
Yeah, I did.
So okay, I would give Battlegrounds a 5. If I was to give Battlegrounds a 5,
okay,
what would you give this game?
I would give Battlegrounds like a 3 to 4. Honestly,
okay, that's fine. That's fair. Okay,
so
let's say that.
I would
comparatively
easily,
Battlegrounds. What would you give
this
this?
is an 8. I'd go 8.5 even.
All right, and this is the
this is
foremost
like
expert on these games. So 8.
Yeah, this is, I'm not gonna sit here and mark out on it and act like it's the end all be all and just give it a 10. No, it literally is an 8.5. It's that good.
So let's cut out 2020. Obviously, it's a 0. What would you give like 17, 18, 19? Were those like 6s, 7s?
13. 13 would be the equivalent. 13 was perfection to me.
Okay, so 13. So this is as good. This is as good of a wrestling game as come out in almost the last decade.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. You don't have any jittery goofiness on the ropes as far as glitches go. You know, you used to have things where it'd be like, and the ropes go all crazy. Like, oh,
and they never patched that up. They never patched that up.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet in this game. Different camera angle. It's very, very worth the time, man. Definitely worth your $60.
All right, I'm picking.
I was not sold on it at first. Now that I've had quite a few days with it,
all right, I'll pick it up.
That's where it's at.
You can kick my ass. Maybe you can kick my ass on the live stream. All right, what do we got next, Walt?
Hey, so man, that's good promotion right there. That's good promotion. Yeah, maybe we'll do a little something, huh?
I never beat it.
I see that.
I'd have to get it.
Maybe you'll beat my ass. You never know.
I can get it on Xbox. I have an Xbox.
Hey, so Derek thinks Tony Khan's a bad promoter, and then we're going to get into match of the week. That's your boy, bud.
Explain to me why, because so Dave Meltzer gave him promoter of the year 2 years in a row. I think that's, I mean, I think he's doing booger shooters like he must be higher than fucking like pterodactyl tits here. But why why do you think he's a bad promoter? Because like bang bang.
I mean, you guys know I love me some Tony Khan. I love me some AEW. My thing though, this past week on Dynamite, we had Dante Martin versus Adam Page for the title. Okay, this is just one example, but what I'm going to say is, was I excited to see that match? Absolutely. Was that something cool that I didn't realize that I wanted to see? Yes. But was there absolutely any build-up? Was there any inkling that this was even going to happen? Like, why would I didn't even know I should tune in to Dynamite for a championship match with the number 2 contender, Dante Martin, which we have not pushed one bit. We have not pushed
3
him
title
as
matches
being...
on Dynamite, by the way.
Okay, but I'm saying...
And more title changes is a $50 pay-per-view.
Being the number 2
Fuck.
person at all.
No. Didn't know he was the number
But
2.
we have not made that in the forefront of our advertising or in our commentary or any of that. So there was absolutely zero chance that I saw any of this happening. And your brother just came back at the Revolution pay-per-view. And so now you're back as a tag team, but all of a sudden we're going to do this. And I feel like it was a great idea on paper. I love it. But could we have had some build-up? That's where I get to where he's a bad promoter. Do I think he's a good booker? Sure. Does he give us what we want to see? A lot of the times, yes. But does he take full advantage of what he could as far as consumer-wise with the television, the ratings, all that? It kind of slips, guys. I wish he would do more. And that's just me sitting here, just basically playing off the backhand like, oh, yeah, well, woulda, shoulda, coulda. But it seems so obvious.
I have a point to make, and I 100% agree with you. But here's the other thing that he did on that show. One, he debuted Jeff Hardy.
Yes.
Which was, if you go back to last week,
you knew that was going to happen.
I did. Not only did I know it was going to happen, I called it last week. I shadow booked this last week.
I really feel like we should have the most memeable moment of wrestling this week was Jeff Hardy coming out and dancing as his brother gets his ass beat, as we saw all over the internet this week.
Really?
Yeah, the most memeable moment of wrestling was definitely that.
Matt was getting pounded. So additionally to that, like he was, yes. So yeah, he was getting pounded. And then he comes out, makes the save. I called this last week. On top of that, they also had a title change in a match that stunk, which I outlaid earlier. So like they already had title change and Jeff Hardy debut on there. So like this was an afterthought. Not only was this an afterthought, it went short. So they had to like shove that pack match in there. That was fine, but it was very much a house show match. But they were like, time, go pack. With I don't even know who he fought with, but anyway,
we got to pay Danhausen and we got to pay Kira, whoever, and
yes,
all the best friends. And...
We have to pay Danhausen his sacks of money. But yeah, no,
this will pay for itself.
is he a bad promoter? I think that he's a bad booker and a bad promoter. I just think that like
I can't agree with the booker part. I feel like he's a hotshot booker, but I don't think it's bad.
And I don't think that's good. I feel like there's a point.
But just promote it to me.
Well, and on top of that too, like, and I mentioned this last week when they brought William Regal in, is like there's no like continuity between. It's not a complete show. It's just like match.
You're right, Tom. You're right.
And it's it's a card in that way, but there's no like it's a weekly episodic program, right? And you can do match if they're all blow offs at a pay-per-view. But like that's not a weekly program. And they do this every week now, and it becomes I'm gonna be honest, this week I thought this week Dynamite stunk. I thought it stunk.
There's plenty I wanted to see, but it's just I didn't have any build up to it. That's my only issue.
It was. I watched it and I was interested.
Why do I want to see this? I mean, I know why I want to see it, but
right. But it was just one of those things where like,
yeah,
it was background noise. So
I mean, that's where my match of the week is.
Is he a bad booker? No, maybe not. Is he a bad promoter? Yeah, I mean, I think his promoting.
That's the question. Bad promoter?
Because I
don't think he lets us know enough ahead of time.
I think that he hyped Ring of Honor more than he hyped the show up of Jeff Hardy, although that cat gets let out of the bag on the internet, but that's a bigger deal. So yeah, I think he's missing opportunity. I think he's missing opportunities. And I think that just comes with time. Maybe I do think that AEW is in a much better spot now than they were a year ago. Sure. I hope that continues, but I hope that he's now got smarter people behind the scenes who are going to give him better advice, and he's going to listen to them, and maybe do this a little better. So I'm hoping that they're on the upswing here, and this is just this. It's maybe just like so.
Was that a cut on Cody? Like now that he's gone.
Good job.
It's match of the week time.
Okay, so I have two to talk about. One is a runner-up. So runner-up is going to be RK Bro versus Alpha Academy versus KO and Seth Rollins on Monday, because that whole thing took an hour, and the match was great, and like the build-up was great. It was an hour. It ate up an hour's worth of Raw. The rest of Raw was kind of poop, except for the Finn Balor match at the end. But it ate up an hour of Raw. So it was really good, and it was a great way to fill a really long show. And it was the first hour, so it was really one of those things where it's like, wow, they're really going for it. And they're just going to give these guys all the time they need to build this, put it together, and just act it out. And then have a great match for an hour. So shout outs to them. However, that being said, the match of the week was absolutely Sami Zayn versus Ricochet for the Intercontinental title, because, oh baby, so it's between this and the NXT Championship match for me, but I'm gonna go with this one because it was just a better match overall. Ricochet, love Pretty Ricky. Glad he's finally getting a push. Had a great match. Defeated Sami Zayn. Love Sami Zayn. It really it all tied together. It was a good pro wrestling show. It was really the best thing on SmackDown. But that's really saying something, because SmackDown's pretty good. And Roman Reigns was there and everything else. Well, actually, Roman wasn't there, but Brock Lesnar chased Paul Heyman, which was funny. Yeah, excited to see the mid-card titles getting some shine and getting some good baby faces who I've been behind for a while. So Finn Balor having the U.S. Championship. Hold on. Finn Balor having the U.S. Championship is great. And Ricochet having the Intercontinental Championship is great. And that match on Friday was great. And that's going to be my match of the week. And I'm calling it here, although there was other good matches. Like I said, NXT, that triple threat at the end was also great. But I'm going to go with that. With the SmackDown. SmackDown. Let's go SmackDown.
Absolutely. Derek?
Do you want to know how good my match of the week is? All right, so fellas, we saw what is going to become one of the main storylines of AEW in the near future with Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson. This
in the future
is where it's at. Versus random jobbers, of course, this past week, because that was the greatest squash match that you could ever imagine that lasted more than 30 seconds. They came out there, did what they wanted to do. What? Tom has so many hand motions. What, do you need to talk to me, Tom? Do you hate
Will you
this
just
match?
fucking go?
This is a wonderful match, man. This was good stuff. We're seeing what the future is going to be for these two fellas, and they're going to be tag team champions eventually. And it's going to be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, they're gonna have such a hard time with Jurassic Express.
Well, Jurassic Express isn't going to be the tag champs for much longer there, pal.
Nah, that's going to be on the Elite here shortly. That's who they're going to feud with. But to see these two guys at the top of their game, in all seriousness, come out there and actually put on a clinic on how two top guys who know what the hell they're doing and know how to work a crowd came out and wrestled one hell of a match against, not top tier talent. I loved it. It was one of those matches where if you're not into wrestling at this point in your life, but maybe you liked it previously and like, hey, you want to check out wrestling again? This was a legitimate wrestling match. This was not a death match. This was not
the kind of shit that Tom and I talk about how much we enjoy every single week.
Yeah,
you go,
how much you guys hate.
well,
Yeah, you guys hate anything that involves blood, light tubes, anything fun.
Light tubes, yeah.
So,
Light tubes.
this was 100%. That's a straight up beat up fest. And I loved it. So, yeah, that was my match of the week.
My match of the week, I 110% agree with Tom. It was definitely Sami Zayn versus Ricochet for the Intercontinental Championship. I liked it so much last week that it was my match of the week. It just sucks that it had to happen, but, housekeeping. And if you really want to know my opinion on Sami Zayn, you can join me Friday for our new 10 a.m. segment. I'm going to give a little opinion on our friend Sami Zayn. So if you're into that, come join us there. Try something new. So, great
Walt
match.
has opinions on Friday.
I do have opinions on
Walt
Friday.
does it.
Can I?
Wait, did you make a name? What's the official name, Walt?
I don't have it. I'm working on a name.
Okay. The man's working on a name.
Do you want a segment, Tom? Is that what you said?
The man has no name.
No, can I like join you and clap for you?
I mean, you can do whatever you want, pal. You're a red-blooded American.
No, just invite me. Just invite me so I can be on camera and do this for you. I'll boo you sometime. Like, let me be your audience. Is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you make me a little camera. You be like the big. I'll be the little. Somewhere like a
just
picture
a
in
little
picture.
guy.
Just be a picture in a picture. Can we do that? Is that a thing?
Why do I feel like there's going to end up being a fucking cartoon of me in the corner going...
Wait.
I hate you guys.
Can I have Evie draw you?
I hate y'all.
Can I have Evie... Wait, my daughter's a great draw. She's great at drawing.
I'm a great muse, so, it's kind of a nice combo.
Well, if I let Evie draw Derek, can we...
She should draw all of us and then draw where our mouths are closed, like we're listening, and then where our mouth is open, like we're talking. She draws both of those, right? I'll do something with that. I got ideas.
And then it's a pee break?
Oh, is that all you had to do? Did you have to pee?
No, I don't have to pee.
Is it Vader time?
Oh, you got to go?
No. I could go for another hour.
I don't want you to go for
I
another
actually told my
hour,
daughter
but
that this morning.
I just listen.
It's like, I gotta go potty. She said, go
Stop.
potty? I said, Vader time. It's Vader time, Daddy.
For real though, Tom.
like
Like
that.
I got something, but like if you got to go,
I don't.
Why are you being
Get it.
weird? Tom doesn't have to go.
the
Get it
internet
out.
is abuzz. Cody Rhodes has signed and is in Jacksonville backstage.
You're fucking full of shit.
He's so mad!
Are you serious?
Look how mad he is. Hold on. Has he come out yet? Hold on. I haven't brought this up.
Are you fucking serious, Walt? Like
Where is
legit?
I'm legit.
Where is Codith Rhodes?
Is he rebuilding the throne on Monday Night Raw right now?
Listen,
He's out there with fucking Gorilla Glue.
Okay,
I got it, Trips. Hold on.
People that I trust, like SRS, has not come out and said this. Okay,
Paul's at
They're-
home. Paul is at home.
There's some very credible internet sources that's not Dave Meltzer that have said that this has happened.
Could lie to Dave. It's so easy to lie to Dave.
Oh yeah. So
So basically, Walt's saying it's Brian Alvarez.
Nope, it's not Brian Alvarez either.
Well, there's nobody
A lot
else.
of Brian too. What do you mean? There's
Other than Tom?
Sean Ross Sapp. There's
It's Tom.
It's not SRS. I would have told you if it was Sean Ross Sapp. That's my dude,
All right.
friend of the show, SRS. Listen, and here's the thing, right? So social media has been a little crazy during the entire show too. 45 minutes ago, Brandy Rhodes just posted an Instagram thing that said, "I think Mondays are actually fun day." And then she tweeted something earlier saying how, everything, they're celebrating a big announcement. So,
So can I just point out that I think Brandy Rose is a very pretty lady, and she's, very nice lady. But she just needs to shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Here's the thing. She's absolutely a vehicle for something like this too.
Yep.
She's not a vehicle for anything other
And then I also saw
than stupidity.
that there is belief that internally WWE believes that Cody Rhodes is playing the Brian Pillman gimmick.
I didn't see that, but you did call it. I'm
So,
not watching anything.
Listen,
yet. I'm still waiting.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know. This is just what I see on things that I look at day to day.
If Cody doesn't show up on Raw with a gun, then this is bullshit.
This could all be, as Conrad says, rumor and innuendo. But I mean, it's only 9:15. So then there was
RK
a tweet.
Bro are the champs.
I think there was a tweet also that
Walt's
Brandy
bullshit
had,
could run deeper. We still
I
have
think it was
time.
Brandy that said the visionary is no joke, or the visionary isn't a nightmare. I'd have to go back and look at that. Sounds like Seth Rollins. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Seth
Yeah, it
versus
sounds like
Cody
it
at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Stardust
I'm
is
down.
going to come back. About 30
Yeah.
people are going to drink some Kool-Aid, commit mass suicide, go up on a UFO. Yeah. That's his new gimmick. Way to go, bud.
Why are your knuckles so crunchy?
I don't know. I just
Here's
watched
what
this
it was.
weird
Here's what it
conspiracy
was.
theory.
The visionary is all smoke and mirrors.
It was wild.
The visionary
What?
is all smoke and mirrors. They are going to job Cody out at WrestleMania, aren't they?
I don't.
He's
believe
getting
that's gonna happen.
he's getting stomped, ain't he?
I don't think that'll happen.
I'll be interested to see if he appears on that television show in the next hour and 45 minutes.
All right. Well, I'm watching now, so you guys have a good night, and I guess now I have to watch Raw. Good thing I finished Horizon Forbidden West.
Sorry, pal.
It's fantastic. I'm real sorry that I finished Horizon Forbidden West. Actually, it was really good. It could be twice as long. It's really good. Anyway,
Well, Derek's gonna go play 2K22, and I'm gonna go see my wife. So hey, if you're watching us on YouTube, you know that we exist. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Really helps us out, and we appreciate it. Audio folks, thank you so much for your continued support. We really, really do appreciate it. If you like what we're doing here, consider hitting that thumbs up. I know I already called it out, but we're trying to grow and do some different stuff. So get with us, you know what I mean? Yeah. Social media, Twitter, Instagram, at @1_fall WC. That's ONE. Yep. Good stuff, man. So we're going to go ahead, get up out of here, go watch Monday Night Raw and see if Cody Rhodes doesn't show up. So with all that being said, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast.